Hi, this is Kim, and welcome to the weekly messages from Expressions of the Universe. So, we are still in full moon in Leo, and that could bring about a lot of emotions in us this weekend. With the sun in Aquarius, it's very cold and biting. I feel like a lot of people will have had bitter and hurt feelings over this past weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if some breakups, breakdowns, possible breakthroughs occurred this past weekend. The following week's energy from January 25th through the 31st isn't going to be much different, but I have great news. Mercury goes direct tomorrow, so be really careful about what comes out of your mouth because you're going to feel compelled to speak everything that's on your mind, regardless of who you hurt, how you hurt them, because there's a lot of things that you've probably been holding back for the last few weeks. Um, yeah, so that's about all I have for the astrology. When I did my meditation before I pulled these cards today, all that kept coming up was ego, ego, ego. If you're living in an ego-based mind instead of a heart-based mind, you need to work on that. And what that is, if you're using your head to think things through and not your heart and feeling things through, then you're probably using your ego. So what I kept thinking of was, especially after watching Chris Witecki's Astro Forecast that he sent out over the weekend, ego or freedom, anger or freedom, ego or love. That's really what it comes down to. And if your ego is ruling your life, you have not graduated this weekend with this full moon in Leo, and you're probably still stuck in the same patterns. You don't get to graduate, you don't get to move on and experience all of this magic that is coming to us all throughout the rest of the year. So, you have one more day to think about all of these different things and think about, are you using your head or your heart when you are contemplating a situation? Because if you're using your head, then it's all about the ego and you didn't graduate and you're still stuck in that lower vibration of ego. So cards are going to show you that same thing. So the first card that I picked, I think this is like third week in a row, it's vulnerability. So somebody or some of us out there are still so fearful to let our defenses down that you're not allowing love in. And this actually keeps people from you. It keeps positive situations from you. When you live in a fear-based mind, in that ego mind, you're not having anything good manifest to you. Actually, just the opposite happens. Because the more fearful you are, if you're not using your courage to be brave and allow those walls to come down, you're only going to get more of that. So, somebody is still extremely resistant out there because this is still coming up. And I asked for clarifying cards. And Archangel Zedekiel came up, and he is of the violet flame. So if you want to help yourself out, visualize yourself standing in a violet flame, clearing away all of your fears, clearing away that ego mind, clearing away those lower energies of negativity that are within you. Call upon him or her, however you want to look at it, to help you out and get through whatever it is that you're resisting and holding back. I also picked Archangel Gabriel. I know these are a lot of angel cards this week, and I have one more. And so here's the meaning of Archangel Gabriel. However, when I think of Gabriel, I think of that angel with the trumpet, and it's like a big wake-up call. Wake up and smell the coffee. Like, do not continue to live in a lower vibration. Don't continue to live in that ego mind. You don't have to prove that you're right about a situation. You don't have to be in that victim mentality. Those are all lower negative vibrations. Um, I can't tell you how to get there. Trust me, I was there decades ago. But, I continually work on myself. And when I was thinking about, okay, how can I help any of you viewers that may be in this situation? And I'm going to tell you a great book that really helped me. It's by Iyanla Vanzant, and it's called, I keep wanting to call it In the Basement, but it's called In the Meantime. And it talks about, the different levels of our spirituality, as like the analogy they use is a house and the different floors of a house. And the reason why I say about in the basement is because that's the beginning chapters. And when you're in the basement of your soul, you're living in those lower vibrations. This book really helped me get out of an extremely dark place when I was absolutely heartbroken. And it was one of my first steps of graduating to a higher level of spirituality and love and getting out of that ego mind. I also recommend Wayne Dyer. He is wonderful. Rest his soul. I miss him. I miss having something new from him. But he's also really great to read. Eckhart Tolle, of course. But I would start with that Iyanla Vanzant book because she really helped me look at things from a different perspective and help me get out of the basement. So, now, final angel card. When I pulled this, the first thing that came to my mind was Surrender, Dorothy. So if there's a Dorothy out there watching, then I'm telling you to surrender. Or if you had that Dorothy energy, but surrender. Give up already. And once you do, once you start going with the flow, maybe you will be able to let these walls down of vulnerability. I don't know if you can hear or see it in the video, but a huge flock of geese, Canadian geese, just flew overhead. And I gotta think about, what is that totem? They're all about family, sticking together, teamwork. So we're going to talk about that totem. Probably later in the week I'll post that totem. But that's what comes to my mind, because they do all have to work in a team. They do stick together as a family. If one of the birds gets injured, none of them go. So that's some really nice energy to think about for the week. And also to think about, like when you're in your ego mind, you're all by yourself. But when you're feeling from your heart, you will get a lot of help from family or friends. People will show up in your life to help you along your way when you start to lift your vibration. So that's always another good reason to try and heighten your vibration by thinking positive and good thoughts. All right, so the first crystal card that I picked for this week, it's from my original crystal deck. I don't have this crystal, but it is called Auralite. And what it is, it's amethyst with 23 other crystals and minerals all mixed into it. But I do have something that's kind of similar. And, oh, it's upside down. So this is amethyst with some citrine in it, ametrine, and it looks like there's some probably quartz down there. Maybe not all 23 minerals, but it does have the energy of that. I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you do, but I'm going to work with this stone this week, and my violet nail polish kind of goes with this and that Archangel Zedekiel, the violet flame. I always learn when I do these readings. I always take this advice because, hey, you never know. Maybe I might be blinded to something, so I will take my own advice on these things. So this Auralite, this is about clearing your head, clearing your mind. It's taking me back to what I kept picking up before I even picked these cards, and that was the ego. So if you can, even use some amethyst because it'll act as a sedative quality for your mind. It'll quiet your mind. You're going to be surprised what comes up. I love how all the cards always link together somehow. Because, you know what, I'm just going to pull him out now. I did pull an animal totem card, and it was the monkey. And when I pulled him, the first thing that I thought about was monkey mind. You know how, like, you're thinking and you're thinking and you're thinking, and your mind is all crazy? It reminds me of a meme that I've seen on Facebook. Not my circus, not my monkeys, but, you know, like all about that monkey mind, not doing what you're supposed to do because you're screwing around in life, blaming everybody else for what's going on in your life, and not taking responsibility for you creating what it is that you're living. So that's what I get when I think about the monkey. So think about the aura light and think about this amethyst ametrine, and use it to soothe your mind, clear your mind, and clear your higher conscious. Those are some things that you need to work on. So from my new crystal deck, I've got petrified wood, and it says beginnings. All right, so the first thing that came to my mind was new beginnings, and I said no, 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 not with the petrified wood. And I do have a fantastic piece of petrified wood here, and it was given to me as a gift almost 2 years ago from one of my neighbors that went to the Pacific Northwest, and she found this in the woods, and when she saw it, she said, I know exactly who this is meant for. So I'm extremely grateful because I love this. It's great for grounding. It's great for my root chakra. Helps bring me back to my center. But this card of petrified wood and beginnings, what this is saying to me is the root of your problem goes back to your beginnings. It's in your DNA. It's cellular. You need to maybe like work through your beginnings, the beginnings of your life, how you were raised, who you were brought up by. This also includes past life, because we do bring on a cellular level past life traumas with us. So the things that you that's holding you back from being vulnerable, holding you back from surrendering, all are stemmed and rooted in your beginnings. That would be your family, your parents, your ancestors, like I said, past life. And until you work through these, or at least, think about them and process them, you're not going to be able to heal. Which I was compelled to pick another card, and Seraphonite came up, and it's called It's Healing. And not only is it healing, but it's also about cellular level and DNA. So it goes perfect with what I first thought of with the petrified wood in the beginnings. So Seraphonite, I don't have any of that. It's very similar to green calcite, and it's green calcite and something else in it. But I do have a piece of green fluorite here, and I know the green calcite is kind of like a deeper green color, but I just wanted to kind of give you a visual of, even if you have some green stone, you can work with that. This healing card is saying you really need to go back in time and think about your beginnings, your roots, think about your parents, your grandparents, great-grandparents. Their history that they brought to you is having some effect on you in where you are right now and not being able to move on. For those of you who did not graduate over the weekend with this full moon. So if you are stuck, that's what I'm suggesting you do, to go back to your roots and, try and work through that so that you can graduate from your situation. You want to do that this year, because 2016 is about tying up loose ends, finishing some business so that you can have some new beginnings in 2017, which is a new beginning year. All right. I drew a lot of cards today, but I felt compelled to. The first one, and they were all animal totems that came up, which is pretty amazing. The first one that I drew is the spider. The spider is about creativity, ideas. We're in Aquarius right now. That's all about creativity, ideas, inventions, uniqueness. This is all about what life are you weaving? You know, what life are you creating for yourself? So you want to think about this. It goes hand in hand with what I was just talking about. Know that everything that is happening to you is happening for you, and it was created by you. It was. Nobody is doing it to you. But that's what the spider is. And then the stag. So how am I going to tie this in? It's pride and leadership. When I think of pride, you know, you can be proud of a project. You can take a leadership role in this. On the flip side of that, pride comes to mind when I think about the ego. You know, a lot of times when your pride is wounded, your ego takes over and does nasty things, says nasty things to people. And but let's take the high road on this one and say you're going to come up with some kind of creative idea that you're going to be really proud of. You're going to take a leadership role. I can hear another flock of geese coming in. I'm going to be quiet. Maybe you'll hear them. They're getting close. Let's see. I don't know if you can see them. I'm hoping I caught that. Oh, they are glorious. The sun is shining on the underneath of them. Absolutely amazing. Wow, here comes another string. Either they got lost at the end. I'm sorry, I'm amazed by animals. I just find them to be such glorious creatures. We can learn so much from animals. Once again, the Canadian geese. I am going to look up the totem, but what I'm feeling, it's family, it's teamwork, it's working in conjunction with other people, so that, you know, you can collaborate, and cooperation. That's what I'm picking up from the Canadian geese. All right, so the next card that I chose is the cat, and it's about independence and healthy boundaries. So what does that say to me? Independence, not relying on you know, somebody all the time for everything, and setting healthy boundaries. You know, if there's not something, let me start over on that. Say somebody asks you to go to a party, you really don't want to. Say no. You know, like, set up some healthy boundaries. I have friends that keep asking me to do various things that I just don't have time for. And so, you know, I had to be honest, set up those boundaries and say, look, I love your friendship. I'd love to have lunch with you, you know, once every few months, but that's all I have the time for. I am very busy. Also, healthy boundaries about people not walking all over you. You know, especially, oh, you know, it makes me think of Aquarius. Aquarius don't self-nurture themselves. They are always helping other people. They're really good at helping other people do things, but they never take really good care of themselves. So, Aquarians, I want you to set up some healthy boundaries and start, you know, self-nurturing yourself and giving yourself some love. That's my advice for you. I also chose the Raven, and what this is saying to me is magic abounds towards the end of the week. I want you to pay attention to coincidences, synchronicities. The signs are going to be coming through. Pay attention, because somebody is sending you a sign. If you think of somebody and then they call you on the phone, or you bump into them at the store, somebody you haven't seen for a while, it's not a coincidence. It's a synchronicity, it's magic, and the Raven is bringing that to you. So, when you pay close attention to those synchronicities or coincidences, the butterfly is showing up. And I think the butterfly is also another sign, but it's about beauty, it's about transformation, um, changing, metamorphosis. I want you to pay attention to the signs because they're going to lead you in the direction of a great change, a great transformation, a great metamorphosis. So, let's just recap real quick. I know this video has run long, but I couldn't help but take out a minute to see those Canadian geese. Ego. We're going to work more in our heart instead of our head. That's really my main message for all of you this week. Let's try and move towards that and raise our vibrations, and be careful what you say tomorrow as Mercury goes direct, because I know I'm going to be the one that's guilty of that. Air signs, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, our tongues can be so sharp and cutting, and when Mercury goes direct, we know how to lash out. So I'm putting up that caution sign to you. I think that's all I have for you for this week. I would love to hear your comments. Tell me what you think about this video. I want to thank all of you who watch my video. It really, really makes me happy when I see how many views I get on here. Please leave me a comment. Come visit my blog at expressionsoftheuniverse.com. Come visit me on Facebook, because that page, I'm always posting some fun stuff, trying to keep us all positive all of the time, no matter what. And thank all of you who do like my page, do respond to me. I can't even begin to tell you how grateful I am for all of you. So have a great week, and I will see you next week. Blessings from me. Oh, it didn't end. That's a blooper.